Good morning, boys and girls of grade 9. Good morning to all the faculty members, the teachers of grade 9, the supervisors, coordinators, and dear parents. It's indeed a pleasure to inaugurate the annual exhibition pertaining to personal projects done by students of grade 9. Indeed, a lot of thinking, challenge, and research has gone into your projects, boys and girls, and that is highly commendable as you are marching upwards towards IGCSE boards in grade 10, and you've just completed your SM paid and onward to IB. So actually you've reached the base camp before you reach the summit of IBDP, IBCP, and move on to universities. So this exhibition plays a very important part in the process of your thinking, your analytical skills. In grade 10, you'll be doing IB MYP designed program of personal project, and all these exhibits which you're putting up now are stepping stones where you'll get a certificate from IB for your personal project. It's a very important milestone in your academic career. The key focus of having this activity is to instill a love of learning in each student, in making each one of you a lifelong learner, involving you in activities beyond the four walls of a classroom. As you deal with issues which are related to the world, current issues, and so many other personal issues which you think should be addressed. And that is what we call holistic education. Through these projects which you have put up, you learn from your research, your actions, you test your capacity, your intellectual capacity to go beyond, ability to investigate, ability to be inquisitive, curious, and be creative. Your exhibits include something called STEAM: science, technology, engineering, arts, maths, and involving a commitment towards technology and artificial intelligence. You're also developing new skills towards learning through your exhibits. Indeed, there are so many plus points. I take this opportunity to congratulate and say thank you to your teachers who are the moving force, who motivate you, who inspire you and guide you. And in these pandemic times, the role of parents has also become very vital. As you're doing research and work on your projects from home, parental guidance also comes in. So The African proverb, it takes a village to educate a child, has come to be so true for us. All are involved to draw out the best from you, to show you the direction. But you have to do the walking. That's what education is. And going through your projects which I have received, I'm completely impressed. Well done, boys and girls. Keep it up. You have lived up to the school motto, virtue et labor. I'm overwhelmed to see the different projects you all have taken up related to global issues, local issues, and the research which you've done, how you analyzed your topics, and the skills which you have developed, leadership skills, speaking skills, art and craft skills, and even teamwork. Yes, it's phenomenal. Boys and girls, you indeed deserve a pat on the back. And in these pandemic times, doing these tasks, it's indeed, I can say, a Herculean task, a challenge. And that's what makes life wonderful. I should say, boys and girls, you have been involved in raising the bar of excellence. You're raising it higher. And thank you, teachers. Thank you, teachers, for building the self-esteem and confidence of our students, drawing out their hidden talents, teaching the values of perseverance. So all the teachers, your dedicated teachers, professionals, I thank them all. Hats off to all of them and your parents. And of course, to you. With these words, I wish you all the best for your exhibition. Keep thinking, keep planning, keep smiling. As you face challenges, there should be joy and effort. Congratulations.
Hello, my name is Abhishek from grade 9D, and my exhibition topic is Why Learn a Musical Instrument? Music, one of humanity's best inventions. Similar to a superpower, it lifts us up spiritually, emotionally, and morally. It gives a voice to those without one, an ability to those who lack it, confidence to those hidden in the shadows. No matter who you are and where you come from, music accepts all who put in the work. Music is a true example of our school's motto, as it shows the virtue and fruit that comes from hard work. Music spreads positivity in a world where so many of us are corrupted. Music is an art form recognized all over the world and gives an opportunity for people to hone their talents and get recognition. Learning to play a musical instrument can improve your muscle memory and hand-eye coordination, as you have to be accurate and fast in your movements. You need to use both left and right sides of your brain, and since your brain is a muscle, the more you use it, the stronger it gets. Music can also help release serotonin, which is what makes us remember better and makes us feel happy or sad. Playing an instrument can increase your learning capacity and understanding. In research conducted, it showed children who played instruments were more receptive to education than those who didn't. Music improves patience and discipline too, as you can't be good at playing an instrument overnight. It makes us realize that to achieve anything in this world, you need to work extremely hard and nothing will be given to you. It improves patience as you need to continue to work to improve. You need a big investment of time, and impatience will take you in the wrong direction. I also play a musical instrument, the guitar. I have been playing for quite some time. It might have been hard in the beginning, but with perseverance, I continue to play no matter what. Learning an instrument, I believe, helped me improve a lot. I am able to type faster and do it without looking, due to the pace and accuracy you have to play the guitar at. It also helped me by giving me a hobby and a productive way to spend my free time. Playing an instrument can give a sense of achievement and also a career option. Playing music professionally, no doubt, requires a different level of hard work and talent, but it isn't impossible. A man who made music his career, so that music is what gave him the most joy in the world, and is what he recognized the most with. So he dedicated his time and continued to improve and even started teaching others. After 40 years of playing the instrument, he is still improving himself and giving joy to others and himself with music. True beauty in music is there when we don't restrict ourselves to one type of music or one type of art form. The unerring power of music to unlock creativity and innovation is one of the most stunning creations of humanity. Thank you.
Good morning, respected principal, supervisors, coordinators, teachers, and my fellow Gandhians. My name is Ananya Rajaguru, and today I will be talking about a topic that has been concerning me for quite some time now. It's no doubt that we're living in the midst of a pandemic, and it has restricted us in countless ways. Whether it be for work or for entertainment purposes, we have shifted to the online world, and social media has become an integral part of our lives. Where I got the inspiration to talk about this topic was from personal experience. Without realizing, I was using social media for countless hours on end, and it had major consequences on my mental health. I was facing anxiety and dizziness, and I was unaware that social media was the cause of all my problems. When I consulted my friends, surprisingly, they had the same issues and they were unaware of how this came into place. After understanding and sort of getting the whole social media effect on our brain correct, I was able to formulate an article as my product to raise awareness about the mental health consequences that are faced because of using social media excessively. I concentrated on how social media becomes a problem when it's an addiction. But I also made sure to include the positives of social media from a neurological perspective. I am a person who is very interested in biology, and I was always looking forward to integrate biology with any subject that I have been doing because it interests me so much. So I was able to include a lot of scientific terms and whatever that I learned through all my classes with my teachers about the endocrine system and specific parts of the brain that get triggered because of the stimuli that is provided by social media. And I think that made my product a lot more valuable and compelling. Through my process journal, I was able to lay down all the points as to how I formulated my research and how I asked critical questions and how I took surveys. Everything has been included in this process journal in complete detail. I think my product really would help people to gain awareness, and I think that it has been successful in giving out a very strong message of how everything that is in moderation is good for your health, like, and your mental health. Anything that exceeds the limit can have deadly consequences. I think my product has been successful in sharing that idea. And I want to just end my discussion by saying that every action has an equal and opposite reaction. So it is up to us to choose if what we're doing is right or wrong and make decisions likewise. I think if we're able to figure that out, everything in life would take a good turn. Thank you so much for listening to my presentation.
Good morning. My name is Klausta, and the topic that I chose is plastic waste. Plastic waste, or also known as plastic pollution, is the accumulation of plastic objects in the Earth's environment. Plastic waste are basically just fossil fuel in solid form. In fact, 99% are made from chemicals rooted in fossil fuel. The most important thing we should note is that the plastic we use so heavily is really the same as the petroleum we put in our cars or natural gas we use to heat our homes. Why do we use plastic? You see, we rely on plastic. Wherever you look, partly everything is made out of plastic, like clothes or phones. Plastic also provides protection, preservation, prevents waste. It is also really cheap, light, can be molded into any shape, and it's really durable. If plastics never existed in the first place, there won't be any plastic waste, but expiration dates of products will now short, and our food will get easily contaminated. Products such as phones and vehicles will be heavier. It will also be impossible to have life-saving products, such as helmets. Why are plastics not biodegradable? Since plastics are made out of synthetic polymers, meaning that it's very durable, it'll take time to break down, between 500 to 1,000 years. Impacts on animals. Most of the plastics, actually 79% of the plastics stick around somewhere in the world, where most of it end up in the ocean, which affects marine life. In 2015, already 90% of the seabirds eat in plastic. Many animals starve their stomachs with full indigestible trash or getting entangled to it. These effects would disturb the food chain. Yes, it doesn't only affect animals, but also humans. Although it's still poorly understood, the exposure to plastic is expanding into new areas of the environment and food chain as existing products fragments into smaller particles and concentrated toxic chemicals. These exposures are linked to cancers, birth defects, etc. Why can't we just recycle? It's not easy as you think. Actually, only 9% of plastics are recycled. That's right. The majority of the plastics you're throwing in the recycling bin actually end up in the landfill as well. And do you know that these little triangles behind your container are actually not a sign of recyclability? They're actually a system to identify what kind of plastic they are made from. In simple words, industries use this trick to trick customers into thinking that recyclable, making customers less guilty. What about compostable plastic? Recent studies found that some biodegradable bags do not even break down after 3 years of natural exposure. Most hard compostable plastics are certified for industrial composting, which means you can't just throw it into your compost at home. Which is the problem because most of us don't have access to industrial composting. You can't really say if it's good or if compostable packaging is good or bad. So instead, you have to look at the environmental variables. For instance, some compostable forks are made out of sugarcane, soy, and corn, which means they produce less greenhouse gases than plastic made from oil. However, bioplastics made from plants require farming, which means more land, more fertilizers and pesticides, which causes pollution acidification and algae blooms. There are many ways to reduce plastic. Some ways are to reduce the use of plastic straws, plastic bags, bottles, and utensils. And also shop in bulk. and also avoid buying products that has microbeads. There are many inventions that I found, but one thing that stood out the most to me is that it's a replacement for styrofoams where they use mycelia. This is the product made from mycelia. It is a little bit heavier than styrofoam, but it has a velvety touch to it. These are plates made out of leaves. This is zero waste. This is sandals, which are usually made from plastic foams, but this one is made out of algae. In conclusion, we can say that there's no real solution yet to do with plastic waste, but small actions we take can reduce this worldwide problem. Thank you.
Good day, my name is Fiorenza and I'm in 9D. My exhibition project is an interpretive artwork based on the idea Endure Overcome, and it was drawn digitally on the application Procreate. I took inspiration from surrealism, art movements, and symbolism. The message I wanted to convey was the idea that with enough time and effort, you can escape the problems you may face and find happiness shaped from the experiences you've gone through. First of all, the most prominent aspect is the stark contrast between the light and the darkness. This is meant to accentuate the perspective I was going for and to represent light or happiness that follows effort, which is the rope. The opening above where the light shines from represents one's final destination, which may be, for example, success or satisfaction, or, as previously stated, happiness, whereas the darkness that engulfs symbolizes despair and emptiness. The dramatization of the artwork aims to put the audience into the picture and allow them to see the structure in front of their own eyes. From below to above, the perspective shows the long winding rope and the journey needed to reach the top. Twisting around the rope is a ribbon with repeating Roman numerals spanning from 1 to 12 to symbolize time and its continuity. The fire lit serves to burn out the ribbon, symbolizing the passage of time. Through this, I hope to inspire others to follow the saying, endure, overcome, and believe whatever they may interpret from the symbolism and style I used. That is all. Thank you for listening.
Good morning, my name is Gabriela from Class 9D, and for today's exhibition, I'll be presenting my website about orphans and poverty. This website is fully in Bahasa since I've chosen Bahasa as my subject, but I'll be explaining everything in brief in English so everyone can understand. Millions of children worldwide have lost their families due to poverty, conflict, disease, and war, which oftentimes cause family members to give up or abandon their children to orphanages. However, people who live in an impoverished environment with little to no economic stability, education, and infrastructure have a difficult time supporting orphans. Living in a community with high poverty rates will affect the orphanages that exist within it, and thus will affect the children's way of life. How is poverty a factor in so many children becoming orphans? Well, for many orphans, poverty is a common denominator. Some children become orphans because the lack of adequate food, clean water, or health care resulted in death of one or both of their parents. Understanding orphan care requires an understanding of poverty. So, how does poverty actually affect them? Without thinking twice, we often define poverty as a lack of food, shelter, or other resources. Of course, poverty does involve physical needs. However, people living in extreme poverty tend to explain their predicament in social and spiritual ways. They use words like inferior, powerless, and destiny to describe their experience in poverty. This hopelessness exacerbates physical poverty by convincing people that there is no use in even trying to overcome their situation. As you can see here, almost 10,000 children become orphans daily. In Indonesia, institutions have doubled in the last decade. The number of orphans and abandoned children in the world is increasing day by day due to natural or man-made causes. While it is not possible to prevent children from becoming orphans and vulnerable, so much can be done to reduce factors causing orphanhood. Many orphanages run as businesses, so they rely on funds to continually support the orphans. Here are a few things you could do to support them. 1. Donate food. 2. Donate medicine to the sick. 3. Donate your time, skills, and nurture young minds. And 4. Donate your old toys and clothing. Why should we donate? Are there any personal benefits you can gain through this? You may ask. Well, it teaches the importance of giving. 2, promotes the feelings of happiness to both parties. And 3, it gives you the opportunity to show gratitude. The protection of children, especially orphans, is one of the most fundamental tasks in societies. If you wish to contribute personal funds, you can click on the donate button and it will redirect you to a page where organizations collect funds to make the lives of orphans a lot better. Donating to an orphanage is a selfless act that will bless the lives of many. When you do recognize your own privilege, you will soon come to realize that donation is a meaningful symbol of love and hope to those who are less privileged. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. Today, I will be talking about the education system in Indonesia. It starts from kindergarten for 3 years called TK, elementary school for 6 years called SD, middle school for 3 years called SMP, and high school for 3 years called SMA. The problems. Each day, children stay in school for about 7 to 9 hours. As they stay in school for a long period of time, they get bored and might hate going to school. Children get loaded by school assignments and homework. Often, tasks look unreasonable because of the numerous amount. Students must be able to master many subjects. This can make them unfocused. Even though there's problems, Indonesia has made significant progress in education. Children are starting school earlier and staying in school longer. The enrollment rate has increased and has demonstrated great progress on gender parity in education. I quote, "One child, one teacher, one book, and one pen can change the world" by Malala Yousafzai. This makes us understand that education for our young generation is important for their future and the world. Without them, the world will stay the same and nothing new is going to happen. Thank you.
My name is Juyong Lee, and in this year's exhibition, I'll be elucidating the concept of solar energy and talk on why it's the obvious choice. Um, First of all, it is important to appreciate that Earth is almost entirely solar powered today, in a sense that terrestrial life solely depends on sunlight. The sun is the only thing keeping us away from being roughly at the temperature of cosmic background radiation, and without it, consequently, we would be a frozen dark ice ball. Thus, the amount of energy that reaches us from the sun is tremendous. It's over 99% of the energy of our entire planet. Then there's energy we need to run civilizations, which to us is big, but conversely to the energy that reaches us from the sun is minute. So it doesn't take much. So let's say if you wanted to power the entire United States with solar panels, approximately it would take put a fairly small corner of Texas, California, anywhere. You would only need about 100 miles by 100 miles to power the entire United States. It's astonishing what solar power is capable of. Let's talk about oils for a second. Oil is formed in the bottom of the sea, under the seabed by hydrocarbons. Oil is non-renewable. It is ephemeral, temporary, and that is a fact. Hydrocarbon firms extract more and more oils annually, and progressively it gets increasingly expensive to extricate. By the end of the century, oil will be looked upon as some quaint anachronism in a museum, as so our job is to transition as fast to renewable sources, and there is no better choice than solar energy. For this year's exhibition project, I've created a website through Wix in which I've explained and illuminated the concept of solar energy with a purpose to share awareness and enlighten through detailed information derived and integrated from different sources. To get to the point, the basic concept of solar power is energy from the sun that is converted into thermal or electrical energy. As I had premised, solar energy is the most abundant source of energy. Solar power generates electricity directly from sunlight via an electronic process and can be used to power anything from small machines like calculators to large commercial businesses. So why go solar? To be direct, the best thing in life are free, right? Technically, solar power is free. In fact, it's more of a guaranteed profit. As energy costs rise with solar energy, you could save hundreds of thousands of dollars while staying a step ahead in the inevitable renewable race. And lastly, do it for the environment, which is pretty self-explanatory. These are modern average pricings for solar panel systems globally. With the cost of solar panels dropping every year, there has never been a better time to go solar. We are going to exit the fossil fuel era. It is inexorable. We have a power source that is free to use all day, every day, with a remaining lifetime of approximately 5 billion years. And I think 5 billion years sounds pretty promising. Solar energy is the future. Thank you.
Selamat pagi, nama saya Oh Junsik dari 9D. Hari ini saya akan membahas topik sungai di Jakarta yang kotor. Tujuan presentasi saya membahas kondisi sungai-sungai di Jakarta yang tercemar, apa penyebabnya, dan bagaimana upaya untuk mengatasinya. Sungai apa saja yang mengalir di Jakarta? DKI Jakarta sebagai ibu kota negara Indonesia dilirik oleh 14 sungai kecil atau bisa disebut kali. Semua sungai itu tersebar di seluruh wilayah Jakarta yang terbagi menjadi 5 wilayah. Jakarta Pusat, Jakarta Utara, Jakarta Selatan, Jakarta Timur, dan Jakarta Barat. Kondisi Sungai Jakarta. Sungai-sungai mengalami pendangkalan dan penyempitan, warna air keruh, coklat atau hitam, dan berbau. Di beberapa lokasi terlihat sampah menumpuk di bantaran kali. Penyebab pencemaran sungai di Jakarta. Bagaimana mengatasi pencemaran sungai? Air yang tercemar menyebabkan berkurangnya biota sungai. Di samping itu, air tidak layak untuk dikonsumsi maupun dimanfaatkan untuk kegiatan yang lain. Ada beberapa penyebab pencemaran sungai di Jakarta, seperti kota besar pada umumnya. Jakarta sangat padat penduduk. Tempat tinggal menjadi masalah utama. Banyak pendatang yang tidak mampu bersaing di kota besar dan menjadi miskin. Mereka mendirikan pemukiman di bantaran sungai. Hal ini menyebabkan penyempitan sungai sehingga sering menyebabkan banjir. Selain itu, mereka langsung membuang limbah rumah, termasuk sampah air limbah, langsung ke sungai. Hal ini juga mengakibatkan pendangkalan sungai karena sampah yang tertimbun di dasar sungai. Selain itu, banyaknya pemukiman di Jakarta juga menghasilkan banyaknya limbah rumah tangga yang terbuang ke sungai. Kondisi ini diperparah dengan penggunaan deterjen dan bahan kimia lainnya yang sering dipakai di rumah tangga. Limbah lain yang mencemari sungai berasal dari industri. Tidak bisa dipungkiri ada banyak industri besar maupun industri rumahnya di Jakarta. Kurangnya peraturan dan pengawasan dari pemerintah menyebabkan dibuangnya langsung limbah ke sungai tanpa mengalami proses daur ulang lebih dahulu. Kurangnya kesadaran penduduk untuk memelihara lingkungan memperparah pencemaran sungai. Cara mengatasi pencemaran sungai adalah dengan meningkatkan kesadaran penduduk untuk memelihara dan melestarikan lingkungan air, misalnya dengan mengadakan edukasi dan penyuluhan masyarakat tentang pentingnya menjaga kebersihan sungai. Upaya harus disertai dengan pengawasan dari pemerintah. Pemerintah harus membuat peraturan dengan diberlakukannya sungai bagi siapa saja yang melanggar. Selain itu, Dinas Pekerja Umum harus secara rutin membersihkan sungai. Terima kasih.
Good morning, sir. I'm Kenneth from 9D. My exhibition topic for today is Vaccines, a silver line behind the dark cloud of COVID-19. My statement of inquiry is vaccines are one of our most important implements for preventing outbreaks and keeping the world safe. These are my inquiry questions. What is a vaccine? How does the vaccine work in our body? Why are these vaccines required? How are vaccines developed? And how are the COVID vaccines made? First of all, what is a vaccine? A vaccination is a simple, safe, and effective way of protecting people against harmful diseases before they come into contact with them. It uses your body's natural defenses to build up resistance to specific infections and makes your immune system stronger. Vaccines train your immune system to create antibodies, just as it does when it's exposed to a disease. Most vaccines are given through an injection, but some are given orally or sprayed in the nose. How does vaccine work in your body? Vaccines reduce risks of getting diseases by working with your body's natural defenses to build up protection. When you get a vaccine, your immune system responds to it. It recognizes the invading germ, such as the virus or bacteria. It produces antibodies, and it remembers the disease and how to fight it. Why are these vaccines required? Without vaccines, we are at risk of serious illness and disability from diseases like measles, meningitis, pneumonia, tetanus, and polio. What are the components for the vaccine? Antigen. The antigen stimulates a number of cells in the immune system. Preservatives. They are defined as a compound that kill or prevent the growth of microorganisms. Stabilizers. To protect the integrity of the active ingredients during manufacture. Surfactants. It lowers the surface tension at the air or liquid interface within alveoli of the lung. Residuals. They are the remaining quantities of the substances that have been used throughout the production process. Diluent. It is the liquid mixed with the lyophilized vaccine in order to reconstitute with the lyophilized vaccine and provide the final vaccine for administration. And adjuvant. It helps to create a stronger immune system in people. How are the COVID vaccines made? The COVID-19 vaccine contains a so-called active ingredient. Coronavirus vaccines contain three main active ingredients. First is the mRNA used in the Pfizer, BioNTech, and Moderna vaccines. Next, we have the viral vector used in Oxford, AstraZeneca, and Johnson & Johnson. Inactivated viruses used in Sinovac Biotech. This is the list of available vaccines. First, we have AstraZeneca from University of Oxford, Pfizer BioNTech, Moderna TX Inc., Sinovac, Beijing-based biopharmaceutical company, and Novavax, a Stockton-on-Tees in the northeast England. Vaccination in Indonesia. Indonesia has 4 phases of the vaccination. Phase 1 is given to the health workers and the health workers' assistants and the supporting staff. Phase 2 is given to the National Army of Indonesia and the legal officers, and elderly. The phase 3 is given to the geospatial, social, and economic aspects. And phase 4 is given to the community and the other economic actors. The approved vaccines in Indonesia are AstraZeneca and CoronaVac. Expecting vaccines are Moderna, and the vaccines undergoing trials in Indonesia are listed below. Everyone should get vaccinated as this is the only silver line behind the dark cloud of COVID-19. Thank you.
Hello everyone, my name is Kenzie from 9D, and I'm going to explain about sea level rise. What is sea level rise? Sea level rise is an increase in the level of the world's oceans due to the effects of global warming. The ocean absorbs over 90% of the excess heat. This increases the water volume and melts ice sheets and glaciers, contributing to sea level rise. What causes sea level rise? Rising temperatures are warming ocean waters, which expand as the temperature increases. Land, ice glaciers, ice caps, and ice sheets is shrinking at a faster rate in response to rising temperatures, adding water to the world's oceans. As the rate of ice loss has accelerated, its contribution to global sea level rise has increased from a little more than half of the total increase between 1993 to 2008 to 75 to or 80 to 80% of the total increase between 2003 to 2007. How to prevent sea level rise? Protect wetlands. Wetlands act as natural buffers for coastal areas during rainstorms and hurricanes. They absorb precipitation and storm surge waters. Learn about wetland restoration activities in your area and get involved. Plant more plants and save trees. Plants clean the air and soak up rain. Reduce paper to prevent trees from being cut down. Set all computers and printers to double-sided printing and reuse one-sided copies as scrap paper. Reduce your energy use. Reducing your energy usage is good for your wallet and the environment. For example, turn off your lights and appliances when not in use and replace them with more energy efficient varieties. Leave the car at home. Vehicles are a leading source of carbon dioxide production. Reduce the number of cars on the road by carpooling, walking, biking, or using mass transit. When driving, turn your car off if idling for more than 30 seconds. This will conserve fuel, save money, and reduce greenhouse gas emissions. What will come in the future? Many small island nations will be catastrophically affected by sea level rises in the future, including Jakarta. To prevent it, we need to do the things that I mentioned above. Conclusion. I conclude that if we do things I mentioned, we can preserve our island and prevent it from sinking. Thank you everyone for listening my exhibition.
Good morning, everyone. Today I'm going to talk about a guidebook I've made in Bahasa Indonesia based on conserving meat and replacing meat. The reason why I chose this topic is because meat wasting is a big concern, especially since many people waste meat every day. In the first few pages, I wrote about how to conserve meat using a refrigerator and a dehydrator. These two appliances can be helpful when it comes to preservation of meat, as meat can spoil easily from microbial infection due to the moisture of meat. Cold storages and dehydration are methods to prevent meat from spoiling. In the last few pages, I wrote about replacing meat with artificial meat. This artificial meat is known as plant-based meat. Plant-based meat is supposedly having the similar aspects as real meat whilst maintaining it being completely vegetarian. This plant-based meat can be an alternative used to save the environment, such as animals, and make sure that food will not be wasted, as a ton of food and water is used for livestock slash cattle to grow the meat we eat. I've listed out a number of ingredients used in plant-based meat while looking into multiple brands that help support plant-based meat ingredients and materials required. In conclusion, the reason I made a guidebook for meat preservation is to encourage others to do so. It also helps people on what role they can partake with all the meat that is getting wasted if they are ever confused. Here is what the guidebook looks like. Thank you for listening.
Could an organism as innocent as a plant be considered one of the most invasive species impacting nearly all countries in the world? Greetings, my name is Krishna and today I am going to be presenting my exhibition on Econia crescentis, commonly known as common water hyacinth. My global context for exploration this exhibition is scientific and technical innovation. This is a reality for water hyacinth. It is considered as one of the most invasive plants in many countries as it has been seen to take over a single acre of water in less than one breeding season. This is because of its unusual reproductive methods of fragmentation and plantlets. So let's see an infographic on Econia crescentis. Water hyacinth. Water hyacinth is an aquatic plant native to tropical and subtropical South America or the Amazon basin. It was brought to many countries because of its ornamental beauty, but quickly became an invasive species in many countries with its dense infestation and mat formation. If not controlled properly, it will have a widespread ecological and socio-economic negative impact. However, because of scientific and technical innovations, there have been certain positive aspects of water hyacinth. For example, it can be used for making textiles and can be used for potential biomass and biogas productions, which is eco-friendly and can be a renewable source of energy. Area occupied by water hyacinth, Lake Victoria, Africa. Lake Victoria has the most deadly and highest infestation of water hyacinth, peaking in 98-99. After several years of decrease, however, in recent years, it has again started to increase. This map shows where all Econia crescentis has infected. In US, India, China, Indonesia, Australia, and many other places, Econia crescentis has already been infected. Blue region is where Econia crescentis originally came from. This is my bibliography. However, with technological and scientific innovations, new discoveries and techniques that can be mastered, and goals for reduction in carbon footprint reached, anything is possible in the near future with technology and scientific innovation. Thank you.
Good morning, my name is Kaushika Dabalia from 9D and my topic for this exhibition is Uses of Applications During a Pandemic. In status quo, the continuous advancements in technology has brought many applications in the market that has proved to be very convenient, getting rid of stress and mind from people who want to go outside without any danger. Just by one click, we are now able to get anything delivered to our doorstep. Due to this pandemic, staying inside the house has become mandatory, which leads to going outside to get the needed goods and supplies very difficult. This is why I've designed an app that talks about the current situation of the COVID-19 pandemic and how you can make your own lives hassle-free. Welcome to Ko-Fi, an app developed that contains valuable information for the safety of the society. At the bottom of each screen in this app are buttons that redirect you to the various pages in the app. The first screen is the home page. The home page is designed to just give the basic idea of what is going on in this world. Next is the rapid test. These yes or no questions have to be answered by the user to determine whether the user is suffering through any common symptoms of the COVID-19. Regarding to his or her answers, there will be a remark given by the computer. After that comes the symptoms of the COVID-19. This page talks about the common and major symptoms of COVID-19. Next is the treatment. Not every treatment can be done at home. At times, it is needed to go to the hospital to get a full checkup. To help my user find the nearby hospitals, the user first has to add the city they live in. With the help of my algorithm, the computer will find the 3 best hospitals in the given city, and by clicking the call button, you'll be able to directly contact the hospital, just like this. The last page of the app is the services screen. This page talks about the different websites that can be used to get all our daily needs, such as groceries and medicines. By having apps like these in the market, it not only solves the problem of grocery shopping, but it also allows the user to live a hassle-free life. Thank you.
Good morning, respected principal and teachers. My name is Krish Grandikar from grade 9D, and my topic for this exhibition is skills to pick up while at home. To start off, I would like to explain why I chose this topic. Due to the COVID-19 pandemic, we are now at home, causing us to lose face-to-face interactions. My goal is to establish ways to adapt to the new working environment, how to socialize while at home, and how to spend your time doing something creative. How to adapt to a new working environment. As we now study or work at home, it is essential we split up our work, sleep, entertainment, and exercise spaces to keep focus when doing these tasks. And due to losing important meetups or events, we have lost a waypoint in our schedule. So we must make a schedule and stick to it. How to socialize at home. A good start would be to play online social games such as Monopoly, Clue, or Risk with your friends. And you have been given a great opportunity to learn a new language or practice your mother tongue while at home. I myself have practiced speaking Hindi at home. Now, how can we be creative at home? If you know how to play an instrument or love drawing art, then you have plenty of time to practice it. Or if you wish to learn these creative skills, it's a good time to begin. You can even draw art digitally. I used to know how to play the guitar, and I tried to pick it up again. Cooking is an essential part of a human's life, and it's easy to pick up. So learning to cook will not only benefit you short term, as you will be eating healthy food, but for students such as me, it will help long term as well. Coding, on the other hand, might seem challenging, but it is fruitful. You don't have to start with a hard coding app, but you can start with easy ones such as Scratch. I myself have made a game on Scratch. Thank you very much.
Today, I will be talking about the issues in fast fashion. Fast fashion is the term that is used to describe the clothes that take advantage of recent trends through quick and low-quality production, that in turn bring clothing quickly from the runway to stores. Fast fashion does provide affordable clothing to the public, but has a lot of issues within the industry itself, as well as a negative impact on the environment. Some common fast fashion brands may include your favorite, such as H&M, Uniqlo, Zara, and Nike, just to name a few. If we look at the statistics of produced and consumed fashion as of early 2020, we can see the total numerical value exceeding 1 trillion, with these $1 trillion worth of clothing being produced and manufactured in developing and underdeveloped countries, such as India, Bangladesh, Cambodia, and so forth. Now, the two main issues with fast fashion are that it is modern-day slavery and that it is a detriment to the environment. As earlier mentioned, fast fashion is produced and manufactured in developing and underdeveloped countries, so the people working in these factories have to abide to the requests and demands made by the brands in order to make a living. Brands often make requests to lower the prices of clothes that they'll sell for competition, and so quality is sacrificed for cheaper prices. Since developing and underdeveloped countries desperately need business, they find themselves having to squeeze prices in order to sustain this. They are also being forced to work in such poor working conditions, and we can take India's Rana Plaza disaster as an example. The workers had noticed cracks in the building, but were forced to continue working, and in turn, the building ultimately collapsed, killing over 1,000 people in the process. Fast fashion promotes a throwaway attitude, so the amount of clothes that's thrown away adds up to the planet's pollution and waste. In the USA alone, an average 14 million tons of textile trash is thrown out for 80 billion new clothes a year, so we can just imagine what textile trash the rest of the world produces. Fast fashion also adds on to air pollution and plastics in the ocean, accounting for 10% of global carbon emissions, as well as 500,000 tons of plastic in the ocean. So how can we combat fast fashion? It's quite simple, and things such as wearing clothes for as long as possible, or upcycling and repurposing them into something new can greatly add in the textile trash produced. Thrifting or buying second-hand clothing and natural fabrics, as well as shopping local brands as opposed to big-name brands, is also a great way to help. One can also try analyzing their spending habits and put money into good use, splurging on clothing only when necessary. Educating yourself on the topic is also greatly beneficial and can help broaden your knowledge on the issue and its effects on our planet. While shopping, one can also look into the fabrics being used. And natural and sustainable fabrics such as linen, organic cotton, and wool, to name a few, are beneficial for the environment, while synthetic materials such as nylon, acrylic, and polyester should be avoided, as their production poorly affects the planet. For my product, I've designed clothing based on my research and things that I can do to help combat fast fashion, and I've based them on my own clothing too. For example, the matching white top and skirt that I've designed has the bottom made from an old dress of mine, with the top being a repurposed corset. Similarly, with the black top and pants, the top could be made from the old fabric of a sweater, while the pants are old jeans that have been cut. I hope that this presentation helps you understand more about fast fashion and can hopefully make you think more on your spending habits. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Melvin and I'm from class 9D. For my presentation, I'll be talking about water scarcity. What is water scarcity? Water scarcity can be defined as a lack of sufficient water or not having access to safe water supplies. Water covers 70% of our planet, and it is easy to think that it will always be plentiful. However, fresh water, the water that we use to drink, bathe and irrigate our farm fields with, is incredibly rare. Only 3% of the world's water is fresh water, and 2/3 of that is tucked away in frozen glaciers or otherwise unavailable for our use. As a result, some 1.1 billion people worldwide lack access to water, and a total of 2.7 billion find water scarce for at least 1 month of the year. Insufficient sanitation is also a problem, as many people are exposed to diseases such as cholera and typhoid fever and other waterborne illnesses. 2 million people, mostly children, die each year from diarrheal diseases alone. Rivers, lakes, and aquifers are drying up or becoming too polluted to use, and many of the water systems that keep ecosystems thriving and feed a growing human population have become stressed. So what are some causes of water scarcity? The first one is pollution. Water pollution comes from many sources, including pesticides and fertilizers that wash away from farms, untreated human wastewater, and industrial waste. Second one is agriculture. Agriculture uses 70% of the world's accessible freshwater, but some 60% of this is wasted due to leaky irrigation systems, inefficient application methods, as well as the cultivation of crops that are too thirsty for the environment in which they are grown. This wasteful use of water is drying out rivers, lakes, and underground aquifers. The third one is population growth. In the last 50 years, the human population has more than doubled. This rapid growth has transformed water ecosystems around the world and resulted in a massive loss of biodiversity. What are some solutions to water scarcity? The first one is awareness and education. Education is critical to solve the water crisis. In fact, in order to cope with future water scarcity, it is necessary to radically reform all forms of consumption, from individual use to the supply chains of large companies. The second one is pollution control and better sewage treatment. Without proper sanitation, the water becomes full of diseases and unsafe to drink. That is why addressing pollution, measuring and monitoring water quality is essential. Besides, improving the sewage systems in specific areas is another way to prevent water scarcity from becoming any worse. The third one is sustainable water management. Improving water infrastructure must be a priority, as water conservation and efficiency are key components of sustainable water management. Soil desalination and smart irrigation system are great examples of clean technology for water efficiency and control. And that's the end. Thank you for paying attention.
Hi there, my name is Natalia and I'm from 90. Today I'm going to be talking about making plastic using food grade materials for my exhibition. COVID-19 affecting the economy. By now, COVID-19 has drastically changed our lives within just a year, and one of those very big problems that arose with it is the scale of unemployment rising. Many people have lost their jobs because companies are unable to cope with the lockdowns, and it has devastating effects with the economy. Without any alternative way to earn cash fast, more people will end up homeless. A way to tackle the issue. A solution that could help lessen the intensity of this issue is by creating a small business. By selling cheap items which people have, people can earn some more money that they need. And one example of a product they could be selling is creating plastic out of food grade material. Now, what is bioplastic and why is making it such a great idea? The plastic created from food grade material is also known as bioplastic. Bioplastic only requires natural resources, more specifically plant-based products. Therefore, bioplastics are non-toxic and can easily decompose in the environment in only a period of months without producing as much carbon dioxide as regular plastics. On the other hand, traditional plastic is a combination of multiple harmful chemicals that can cause irreversible damage to the environment. It takes up to hundreds of years to decompose, and while doing so, it pollutes the earth. Nature is not familiar with the chemical bonds in plastic, which is why this happens. Furthermore, bioplastic is actually very easy to make at home, and the ingredients that are needed are within people's grasp. As surprising as it isn't costly at all to make bioplastic. Taking advantage of this aspect, people can start making biodegradable plastic and put it for sale, all at home. Since plastic is necessary for some packagings, it is certain that other people will be interested in purchasing this plastic. This will help create a functional small business. Effects on the economy. If able to create a successful small business that people can earn profit from, not only will it help aid the economy, but will also bring many benefits to oneself. Keeping the market afloat and being able to ensure that money will flow the producer's way will not only make this pandemic easier, but also safer. That's all I have to say. Thank you so much for listening. I hope you have a great day.
Hi, my name is Ovia, and I will be speaking about the impact of the classical era for my exhibition. Around the 18th century, Europe began to move towards a different style of arts, literature, and architecture. Before this revolutionary era, we had the Renaissance and the Baroque era. During these times, music wasn't a big part of people's life. Music used to be very restricted, up until a man called Joseph Haydn composed the first classical piece, known as Il Ritorno di Tobia. Here are the top 4 composers of the classical era. The first one is known as Ludwig van Beethoven. He enhanced different styles of music such as sonata and concerto. His most famous piece was Moonlight Sonata. Next is Franz Schubert. He invented the style Lieder, which puts together a variety of pieces and melodies to form one song. The third is Wolfgang Amadeus Mozart. His most famous piece was Alla Tuca, or more commonly known as the Turkish March. This also uses the sonata style. Lastly, Gioacchino Rossini. He wrote many classical songs for his play Cinderella. This showed people that music could be used as a source of entertainment. Before these composers were ever involved in music, songs and pieces were solely restricted to religious purposes, which meant that they were only sung at church. However, people started to perform them at concerts and shows, which allowed people to change their perception on music. Classical music also taught composers to give importance to the dynamics and tempo of a song, rather than just the melody. It can enrapture our emotions better. These are some of the most important styles of music which were invented during the classical era. Sonatas. It consisted of 2 to 4 sections and different melodies all put together. Overtures are usually very loud and are played to introduce something. Symphonies and chamber music pieces are made for a group of string and percussion instruments, more formally known as an orchestra. Concertos are the solo pieces of an orchestra, which are usually played by the piano. Here are the citations I used to make this PPT. Thank you for your attention. I hope you learn more about the classical era.
Good morning, George Principal, coordinators, supervisors, teachers. My name is Raskanan Harvey Kanjaya from 9D, and today I'm going to be talking about the 2008 global financial crisis. The financial crisis of 2008, also known as the global financial crisis, was a severe worldwide economic crisis. In examining the worst financial meltdown since the Great Depression, the Financial Crisis Inquiry Commission reviewed millions of pages of the documents and questioned hundreds of individuals. Financial executives, business leaders, policymakers, regulators, community leaders, and people from all walks of life to find out how and why it happened. Charles Prince, the former chairman and chief executive officer of Citigroup Incorporation, called the collapse in housing prices wholly unanticipated. Warren Buffett, the chairman and chief executive officer of Berkshire Hathaway Incorporation, which until 2009 was the single largest shareholder of Moody's Corporation, told the commission that very, very few people could appreciate the bubble, which he called a mass delusion shared by 300 million Americans. Lloyd Blankfein, the chairman and chief executive officer of Goldman Sachs Group Incorporation, likened the financial crisis to a hurricane, in which regulators echoed a similar refrain. Ben Bernanke, the chairman of the Federal Reserve Board since 2006, told the commission a perfect storm had occurred that regulators could not have anticipated. But when asked about whether the Fed's lack of aggressiveness in regulating the mortgage market during the housing boom was a failure, Bernanke responded, "It was indeed. I think it was the most severe failure of the Fed in this particular episode." Alan Greenspan, the federal chairman during the 2 decades leading up to the crash, told the commission that it was beyond the ability of regulators to ever foresee such a sharp decline. History tells us that regulators cannot identify the timing of a crisis or anticipate exactly where it will be located or how large the losses and spillovers will be. In fact, there will be warning signs. In the decade preceding the collapse, there were many signs that house prices were inflated, that lending practices had spun out of control, that too many homeowners were taking on mortgages and debt they could ill afford, and that risks to the financial system were growing unchecked.
Good morning, respected principal sir, supervisors, coordinators, and teachers. My name is Sampan, and I'll be talking about a disease which many may not know of, known as EVALI. So what's EVALI? EVALI refers to e-cigarette or vaping-associated lung injury, a lung-oriented disease caused by excess vaping or e-cigarettes. It was originally known as VAPI, vaping-associated pulmonary illness, but it was given this new name after a drastic increase in number of lung illness caused by these products. The first few cases of this disease were noticed in early 2019. Most doctors were still unfamiliar with the symptoms and considered as a normal lung illness which could be easily treated. But as of 2021, the numbers have been constantly rising. Causes: e-cigarettes heat nicotine extracted from tobacco, along with various other substances to add more flavor. This e-cigarettes contains a mixture of harmful chemicals which are very harmful to the human body. Acetate is one of those harmful materials which is formed from acetic acid and a base. Moreover, it is mostly present in vaping devices along with nicotine or cannabis and is used as an additive. Acetate causes the surface layer of lungs to collapse, which over a period of time contributes to shortness of breath, asthma, or lung inflation. Short-term impacts of EVALI. Some of the short-term impacts include shortness of breath, cough, chest pain, fever, rapid heartbeats, and dry coughs. Long-term impacts. Most of the long-term impacts of EVALI are still to be unfolded, since some of these impacts may vary from person to person, depending on their average consumption. Yet, according to a study by World Health Organization, asthma or lung inflammation are some of the major impacts. Moreover, vaping can also have severe impacts on our cardiovascular system by increasing the cholesterol deposits in our arteries, which can form plaque and can prevent blood flow and lead to heart attacks or strokes. The following flowchart helps in providing a better understanding of age groups where vaping occurs the most. From the flowchart above, it can be observed that people tend to start vaping from a very early age, as ages from 16 to 35 have been the age group where highest vaping or e-cigarette consumption is occurring, which is 61% in total. After gathering information and data from the Jakarta Post, I have created the following pie chart to portray Indonesian population that have been affected from EVALI: 49% in men and 41% in women. Treatments. Application of medicines such as antibiotics are used to remove the infection that has been formed. Patients with much severe conditions are hospitalized or put under ventilators. Corticosteroids are another type of medication used to help in reduction of inflammation in the lungs. Scientific developments taking place. Bupropion, also known as Zyban, is an antidepressant drug used to help in quit smoking. It helps by helping the dopamine system present in our brain, along with other neurotransmitters, to linger longer in our brain, which helps in reducing the symptoms of nicotine consumption, such as lowering the heart rate and bringing it back to normal. Bupropion also helps in reducing the cholesterol levels, which were increased due to excess smoking. In conclusion, although there is no cure for the disease and is still not developed, moreover may take a long time. However, I believe with more developed and advanced technology, we can find a cure to this disease. Scientists across the globe have been working together to find a cure to this disease and have been trying their best to make the world a better place for the current generation as well as the future one. But for now, there are some steps that can be taken as individuals, such as quitting smoking, whether it is vape or actual cigarettes. Thank you.
This website I created through the usage of Wix. I was restricted using this platform as I was given very little choice of templates to use. However, I feel it has come out to be perfect. When one enters the website, they are presented with several facts that may seem hard to be true. For example, it takes 50 to 80 years to break down one plastic bottle. After that, on the home page are several widgets containing buttons that lead to multiple pages. However, these buttons can also be accessed via the menu button on the top right corner of the website. There are 5 pages in this website excluding the home page. The About Me page, which gives an insight on my mission and how I intend to spread plastic wastage awareness. The previous feedback page, which was feedback previously given by friends and family. The information page, which has information on why plastic wastage is harmful, the effects of plastic wastage, and the solutions for plastic wastage. The news page, which gives information on the latest news in context to plastic waste, and the Contact Us page, which helps receive client advice to make changes for the betterment of the website. Now, the information page is the most crucial page of this website as it contains summarized information from various sources in the internet. So you may ask yourself, why is plastic wastage harmful? There are multiple reasons why plastic wastage is extremely harmful, as it contributes to high levels of global warming. More than 90% of the plastics in the world are made from harmful chemicals that come from toxic fuels such as gas, oil, and coal. Not only is the existence of plastics harmful to the environment, but burning them releases climate wrecking gases and adds to the toxic air pollution. The effects of plastic wastage. There are multiple effects of plastic wastage: water pollution, ground pollution, air pollution, soil pollution, land pollution, global warming, the destruction of multiple ecosystems, social costs, increase in carbon emissions in the air, as well as multiple effects on humans. Now, how do we prevent plastic wastage? There are 10 easy ways to prevent plastic wastage, which we all can incorporate in our daily lives. We can reuse and recycle plastics. We can buy bags made from cloth to carry groceries instead of plastics. Cleanups can be organized from multiple organizations. We can avoid taking plastic packaging. We can avoid drinking bottled water. Governments can regulate higher taxes on plastics to reduce pollution. Governments can provide subsidies to companies going plastic free. We can avoid taking plastic straws at a fast food restaurant. We can avoid littering. We can avoid using plastic cutlery provided by restaurants. Through the precautions mentioned above, one can reduce plastic consumption by more than 25%. If this takes place on a global scale, plastic consumption will reduce drastically. Using these methods will not only help humans avoid a decline in economic growth, but will also help the natural healing process of the earth to take place. I believe that through all of these points, we can incorporate these in our daily lives and help protect our earth. Thank you.
Halo semuanya, nama aku Ananya dan hari ini aku bakal mengintroduce kalian ke teman baik aku. She's an influencer, she's a worker, dan she can manage her time untuk kuliah dia dan pekerjaan dia. Jadi I'm going to meet you guys with my close friend, Amelia Marda.
Halo semuanya, halo Tania. Ya ampun, kok kita kaku banget ya.
Aku senang banget kamu bisa membagikan waktu kamu untuk aku untuk hari di sini. Jadi aku pengen banget kamu share experience kamu ke teman-teman aku di sini. Jadi how do you manage your time untuk sekolah, kerja, dan menjadi sosok influencer? So how do you do it?
Aduh, gimana ya kalau ngomong soal cara ngebagi waktu sih, misalkan nih. Di sini kan posisinya gue sebagai mahasiswi dan juga entertainer gitu kan. Jadi bekerja emang di bidang entertain. Karena apa? Karena gue suka aja gitu kayak model ataupun photoshoot, terus ikut iklan ataupun kayak casting gitu kan. Kalau dibilang cara ngebagi waktu pasti tuh nggak gampang dong. Karena kalau menurut gue itu tantangan gak sih? Bisa kerja, bisa kuliah juga. Gimana caranya ya nggak banyak main juga, paling kalau main Sabtu atau Minggu gitu kan. Biar maksudnya kita juga perlu namanya waktu istirahat dong pastinya. Nggak mungkin kita langsung kayak setiap hari full dipaksa untuk terus-terusan kerja, untuk terus-terusan kuliah kan enggak. Jadi kayak ada waktunya kita istirahat, dan sekarang tuh lebih enak jatuhnya kan kuliah online, jadi lebih banyak waktu untuk kerja gitu kan. Gitu sih, lebih simpel jadinya.
Okay, well that's good answer ya. Dan I have another question for you. Apa ya yang membuat kamu tertarik di dunia entertainment ini? Apalagi in a young age dalam umur yang muda ini? What is it?
Oke, yang buat gue tertarik di dunia entertain itu satu kata sih, hobi.
I see.
Karena kalau misalnya udah hobi tuh kenapa mau ke entertain nih kalau ditanya? Ya karena aku suka aja, ya karena gue fun gitu ngejalaninnya, gue walaupun gue sambil kerja ya gue happy aja gitu aja sih.
Well, sama dengan aku juga sih sebenarnya. Everything selalu dengan niat jalannya, menjalankan something pakai niat lebih baik karena itu kemauan kita dan pasti juga enak ngejalaninnya, right? Betul. Pasti bisa sih, because kan kunci dalam anything we do sebenarnya tuh kerja keras, right? Jadi kalau kita kerja keras dan pakai niat yang cukup, dan ya pasti kita bisa menghasilkan what we want. Okay, so the next question for you is pesan untuk anak-anak kita yang sekarang cara menjadi successful dan bisa membagi waktu untuk kuliah dan untuk dunia entertain kamu apa ya?
Oke, untuk pesan anak-anak milenial nih yang kita seumuran gitu kan. Kalau menurut gue pribadi, please jangan buang-buang waktu. Itu poinnya. Kalau misalnya kalian masih banyak waktu, kenapa kalian nggak mencoba untuk ngelakuin kegiatan yang positif atau yang bisa dibilang ngasilin duit misalnya gitu kan. Intinya ya udah nggak usah buang-buang waktu.
Ya exactly. Jadi ya kita juga kalau ngelakuin sesuatu sih pasti ada manfaatnya kan, dan bisa gak usah merugikan orang juga, dan harus bikin kita senang juga, dan bisa pokoknya berdampak untuk kita, pokoknya kebaikannya ya. Terima kasih untuk semuanya yang udah mengikuti aku dan Amal hari ini dan belajar dari pengalamannya Amel sendiri, and we have the model herself di sini ya. Jadi thank you so much to you juga.
Thank you so much Tania.
Thank you so much. Jadi from here semoga kita bisa mempelajari banyak pengalaman. You can udah bisa brainstorming untuk kalian mau ngapain ke depannya, right? Karena mau ngapa-ngapain pasti harus ada planningnya dulu dong. Betul. Ya kan? Planningnya dan persiapkan mental dan everything. Jadi thank you so much untuk hari ini datang. So I guess. Jadi ya. Udah, I think this is it for my exhibition project. Terima kasih banget. And let's do this. Bye.
Hi there, my name is Travis, and I'll be talking about the aviation industry in 2021. My research question is, how has COVID-19 affected the aviation industry in 2020 and 2021? When the COVID-19 crisis hit air transport, the whole aviation industry was affected. According to the IATA, passenger air transport was measured as revenue per passenger per kilometer, and that was down 90% year on year in April 2020 and still down 75% in August of 2020. How has the aviation scene survived in 2021 and 2020? Airlines had to fill in planes with 30% capacity at most. At this rate, they weren't going to make any profit. The solution was to basically fill in planes with more cargo than needed. They would get more funding from the governments due to the self-explanatory act in which the airlines is doing. How have plane manufacturers survived through 2020 and 2021? Boeing and Airbus both have felt hardships as airlines are declining to accept new planes. These then new planes would be converted as freighters for both Airbus and Boeing. Thus rejected, no plane will be taken by the airline and the contract will be cancelled. How has Boeing and Airbus survived this pandemic? Well, in a way, we couldn't compare these two manufacturers together because of the long-lasting list in which airplane orders has been cancelled and airlines deciding not to accept any new aircraft. We could compare the losses between these two companies. Boeing has lost over 22.5% in revenue. Airbus has lost 14.5% in revenue. Both companies, also the biggest manufacturers of the passenger aircraft industry, have both lost in this pandemic. The aviation industry after 2021 and the future. After taking a drubbing from the pandemic, aviation will stage a comeback in 2021. But despite a number of tailwinds, including many effective vaccines for COVID-19 and significant pent-up demand for air travel, the road to recovery will be a very long one. Thank you very much.
Good morning, respected teachers, parents, and my dear friends. My name is Yash, and I'm from 9D. My, my exhibition topic is e-waste disposal. People dispose e-waste in the environment irresponsibly, which could cause which will eventually cause a lot of damage to the environment. Through this presentation, let's look into some of the problems and solutions to e-waste. So, firstly, what is e-waste? E-waste is the disposal of used electronic devices into the environment, which causes a lot of damage to the surroundings. E-waste is one of the most dangerous global issues we are facing in the world presently. E-waste disposal is considered a global issue as it causes a huge amount of damage to the surroundings as well as humans. Where and what are how are e-waste disposed? E-waste are being disposed near sea banks or in open fields. E-waste is sent often illegally from the west to developing countries. Around 50 million tons of electronic waste is being thrown away each year. To make the disposal of e-waste more convenient and safer, each country has its own disposal area so that it doesn't cause any harm to the environment. Here are some of the causes of disposal. The main cause of throwing away gadgets is because of the condition at which it is being used. When the gadget slowly starts degrading, it stops performing the function it's assigned to do. Therefore, people throw them carelessly near their homes or in the environment. Over a period of time, these gadgets produce chemicals and toxins which could affect the environment and humans. These are some of the effects of disposal. The effects of disposal are don't seem too serious, but it could cause a lot of damage over time. Heavy metals from e-waste leak through the earth even further to reach groundwater. They eventually make their way into ponds and streams. This contaminated and toxic water reaches our homes and humans consume them. This damages our body and all the vital organs. Here are some of the real-world examples of disposal of e-waste. Since 2018, India generates more than 202 million tons of e-waste annually. E-waste is smuggled into Indonesia in the form of used devices. China produces the most e-waste around the world and is the leading contributor to e-waste pollution too. Here are some of the initiatives that the government has been taking to curb this issue. The government in almost every country has specified an open ground only for the disposal of e-waste. This is done so that disposal doesn't affect the environment. Some e-waste is also recycled and reused for future. We as citizens can also contribute to reducing pollution by simply buying devices that are of high quality and long lasting. Importance of the three R's. Reducing the use of electronic devices that are being used at our homes could significantly contribute to reducing the pollution. Recycling any waste materials so that it doesn't cause any harm to the environment could also contribute. Using non-functioning items to make usable ones is a better option. Here's my bibliography for my research. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Yajish from Grade 9, Section D, and my topic is about global warming and its effects on Antarctica. Everyone has heard about global warming and its effects on Earth. Global warming was created by us human beings and is now causing harm to the environment around us. I wanted to draw people's attention from just global warming around us to something much more bigger, and with my research, I was able to find what global warming is actually causing the most harm to, and the answer was Antarctica. The precious ice has melted due to global warming, and this will cause harm to the surroundings of the continent. For example, sea level rise or much more salty water in the oceans. The topic of global warming in Antarctica cannot be taken lightly, as this is a global issue, and it seems that the continent may or may not disappear if the problem continues. The glaciers and the ice sheets have melted and is causing harm to the animal habitat of Antarctica. The most important animal for the marine life food chain, the krill, is endangered. This can cause a lot of trouble as the other animals will die if they are not able to feed on it. Here's a picture of Antarctica from 1980 to 2012. We can see that the ice of Antarctica is almost halved because of global warming. Global warming has to be reduced as it is causing a lot of harm to us, and there are many ways to stop it by reducing deforestation or using renewable energy. Antarctica might disappear by 2100, and we have to be concerned about it. Hope this helped spread awareness about the current issue and you learned something about it. Thank you.
I am Yeben Lee from 9D, and I will be presenting upon the dangers of common health complications with COVID-19. The elderly during COVID-19 vaccinations are prioritized because of pre-existing complications. Extremely common and not necessarily age-based, it is a global problem as they increase susceptibility and severity. Why its treatments and its prevention is therefore crucial to act against this global problem. Diabetes occurs when the blood glucose is too high. Insulin, a hormone produced by the pancreas, helps glucose absorption to be used for energy. Glucose remains unused in the blood when the pancreas does not make any insulin or even none to keep the blood sugar regulated. When those with diabetes develop a viral infection of any kind, the immune system is compromised, making it harder for the body to fight off the virus, as viruses thrive in elevated blood glucose levels and also because it is an inflammatory disease. Increase fiber intake. Fiber slows the absorption of sugar and passes through the digestive system intact, unlike carbohydrates or fats, preventing spikes in blood sugar and insulin levels. Reduce refined carbs intake. Small sugar molecules rapidly broken down absorbs into the bloodstream. Blood sugar rise stimulates insulin that absorbs sugar into the body cells. By being resistant to insulin, blood sugar remains high, inducing spikes of insulin and blood sugar levels once again. Those with prediabetes should take preventative measures, such as fiber intake, reducing refined carbs, and increasing physical activity to stabilize blood sugar and insulin levels. Asthma is a chronic lung disease in which inflammation causes the bronchi to swell and narrow the airways, stimulating production of large amounts of thick mucus, tubes highly sensitive to allergens or irritations. Damaged lungs are abnormally weaker. When the virus attacks the lungs, inflammation in the lungs lining and irritation in the nerves are caused, often leading to pneumonia, causing vital organ failure. By staying at home during the pandemic, triggers like dust mites, molds, pests, etc. are in turn extensively exposed in a home environment. It is therefore vital that home environments of asthmatics are regularly cleaned. However, cleaners and disinfectants are also asthma triggers. Therefore, distance should be maintained during and after usage, special disinfectants should be chosen, and shouldn't be used in enclosed spaces. Those with congenital allergies should prevent asthma by keeping away from products that have earlier caused breathing problems at home and taking allergy shots or prescribed medication to protect against reactions. In conclusion, it is therefore times like this where the relevance of science on a global problem is shown that educates people about how trivial health conditions of the past are now deathly in the present status quo of COVID-19.
Grade 9D. Your exhibition topics are again of a very wide range. I congratulate you for choosing such wonderful topics and your research on them. I begin with your class teacher, Mr. Deepak Upreti, and all your subject teachers, for your tremendous effort in drawing out the best from each one of you. Kenneth, you chose the topic on COVID-19, a world crisis, and analyzed it from your point of view. Indeed, commendable indeed. Abhishek, you posed the question, why do we learn a musical instrument? Well, I think there may be so many aspects to this. Brings peace of mind, it's a wonderful hobby. But Abhishek, I respect your views and your research. And Yibin, you're dealing with a wide range topic, diseases, how they spread and how they are treated. Good research. And Shaurya, you're dealing with a very special topic, narcolepsy. Well, I appreciate your choosing this difficult topic and your research on it. And Ananya, psychology of social media. Psychology of social media. Well, Ananya, your analysis is worth studying, but there's a piece of advice, social media is 50-50. There's right, show me what is right and what is evil is the issue. And Ovya, you've delved into importance of the classical era. A good study, Ovya, keep it up. And Yajish, global warming and its impact on the continent and Antarctica. Yes, global warming will have a great impact on Antarctica. Yes, Yajish, we have to find solutions. Presidents, prime ministers of developing and developed nations are all worried about it, looking for a suitable solution, how to prevent it. Your views will be highly appreciated, Yajish. And Ju Yong Lee, well, to fight global warming, you said, let's use solar energy. Yeah, indeed, that is the future, and it is catching on. Solar energy keeps the environment clean. So Ju Yong Lee, keep researching. Maybe you'll discover better ways of producing solar energy. And Kenzie Lee, sea water rising, melting of ice in the North Pole and South Pole due to global warming. Kenzie Lee, the world is looking forward to stop this seawater rising, and solutions from your end will be highly appreciated. We'll send all your solutions, boys and girls, to IB. Fiorenza Salim, interpretive art. Wonderful topic. Wonderful topic. Research on interpretive art. Art has so many meanings and how it can be interpreted right from historical times to date. Congratulations, Fiorenza, for this topic. Another menace on planet Earth is plastic waste. And Callista, I appreciate your dealing with it. Yes, Callista Gilberta, congratulations on dealing with this wonderful topic. And Travis Tan, you're dealing with the aerospace industry in 2021. Wonderful topic. There's so much research going on. So Travis, your views are most welcome. And we move on. Education for children. Himanshi A. Vasani. Education for children is vital. Don't look at it from your point of view. You are privileged. There are so many children on this planet Earth who don't get proper education, who don't have the means to get proper education. We have to look for solutions, Himanshi, to make this world a better place. Education for all. Wonderful topic. Must be sent to UN also. And I congratulate Jun Sik O for dealing with a topic in Bahasa Indonesia, Sungai Jakarta Yang Kotor. Wow, a Korean student dealing with problems of Jakarta in Bahasa. I'm sure the governor of Jakarta will appreciate your views. Now, Sampan Malik, you're dealing with disease and you've called it Iwali, something, I'm not fully aware of. But indeed, I congratulate you for taking up this topic. Well done. And Karen Siddhartha, conserving and replacing meat with plant-based materials. Wow, that's the future. Meat being replaced with plant-based materials. And it has an impact on the environment, isn't it, Kiran? Kiran, your research is commendable. Poverty and orphans. Gabriela Lim. It is indeed the way to look at life. That lesser privileged, who are poor, who are orphaned, and your suggestions to make their life better. I appreciate your work. And Tanya Khan, you're moving into the life of millennial students, their ways, their problems, and the solutions. Come up with some positive ideas to make their lives better. Natalia Lim, making plastic using food-grade materials, a different form of plastic. Yes, that's what the world needs. Biodegradable plastic. Well done, Natalia. The future of the world. You're looking at water scarcity. Melvin, yes, we have to conserve water resources. Man has been selfishly, carelessly polluting natural water resources, and water scarcity is coming up. This has to be handled very carefully by the entire world. Melvin, wonderful topic. Rex Conan, Harvey, Kanjaya, you are dealing with global financial crisis of 2008. Well, that's a fabulous research, and I'm sure you'll come up with some solutions so that future global financial crises can be averted. Krishna Tayal, invasive to humanity, Icomia crassips. It's a very specific topic you've chosen, Krishna, and it's a medical issue, I think. So I'm not fully aware of it, but we do look forward to your solutions, Krishna. Yash Benur, disposal of e-waste. It's a very important topic. E-waste has to be disposed of very carefully, very scientifically, and not just thrown here and there. It can cause damage to the environment. Good topic, Yash. And Krish Karandikar, skills you should pick up at home. Oh yeah, this is a wonderful topic. You have to pick up a lot of skills at home, lots of them, Krish, because eventually you'll be moving to universities and you'll need all the skills of home in your university life and real life. So learn from your mom and dad. It'll be a great topic. And Madeline Sukoyo, recollecting the lost behinds, memories. All right. I appreciate your topic. Maybe you'll give us a few tips or two. And Sandasi, how fast foods have become a threat to human health. Yes, indeed. Sometimes we carelessly eat fast foods, not realizing that they are not good for a healthy life. And Sandasi, your solutions will surely help. And Krish Jigar Dabalia, use of mobile applications during a pandemic. Indeed, we should use good applications and grow intellectually and mentally. So, grade 9D, all your topics are amazing, and I request your supervisors and coordinators to send them to IB, put them on YouTube and on our website so that the world can see the amazing kids of GMIS. Thank you.